Hello, everyone, and a very good day to you all, and welcome to our problem management program in conjunction with Labor Day celebration. I am very appreciated for you to join this program, especially managers from all over the country, as we put so much effort into it. This is a rare opportunity as we rarely see any program like this. Our objective today is to expose and help all the managers out there to motivate your subordinates and make sure they stay productive and also in a healthy workplace. We will be focusing on the problem that you probably have seen or might have been concealed by your subordinates in the workplace. Then of course, every problem has its solution, so we will proceed to solution right after we're done with the problems. Before we actually start, I would like to introduce my team. My name is Zuhair Mustaqim, the Chief Facilitator. Second, we have Dr. Faris Iskandar. Next, we have Nurul Ain Afika. And last but not least, we have Raja Iman. These people are very knowledgeable and professional. Now, I hope you are all in a good mood and comfortable because we are about to ride a journey of a lifetime. Now, now that we're all set, without further ado, let's begin.
The sole reason on how we created this article review was based on this article wrote by Arthur Wilson and published in the Workstars website. It is discussed about the fact that Brits are suffering low productivity although they work the longest hour. It is phenomenal and weird enough, although for one to be the last when they work the hardest. As time goes by, there were alarming productivity gap exists between the British and other European countries. In the article itself, there are comments from the respondents and professionals about the topic, and now we are writing a review to unravel the truth behind the facts stated and suggest few solutions which could be the stop of this widening productivity gap.
Now, most of the problems because our working culture in a workplace, right? As we can see here, our first problem is that your employees are working for too long in a single day. The general standard working hours are rather understated compared to actual working hours experienced by the most employees in real life. For example, people say that the average working hour is roughly 35 hours per week, but in reality, they've been working for 45 hours per week. 10 hours difference is actually a lot, and they've been tirelessly working in their office on their table. Statutory holiday entitlement for a full-time employee is 28 days including bank holidays. However, so many employers give 20 days of holiday per year plus bank holidays, yet none of this takes into account low wages, the poor working, or the mammoth amount of unpaid overtime Britons take every year. And it doesn't include commuting time, of which the average is now an hour every day, or working through lunch. Next, the employee's perception: as long as we look busy, we're fine. So they can appear eager to work. They never want to shut down their computer and leave their office until late evening because they do not want to see as desperate to leave, like they're not dedicated to their work, right? Then, as human beings, how long will they be able to pull themselves together when doing things that are slowly affecting them negatively? The answer might be an easy way out, by quitting the job entirely. This usually happens when the employees get no overtime compensation and the rights in asking for overtime compensation. This just makes them want to get out of there and find a new job. Now, for the rest of the problem, I'll leave to Dr. Faris Iskandar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I starting my class, I would like to express my gratitude to the sponsors and to my respected boss Zuhair Mustaqim for giving me the chance to give my speech. Okay, without further ado, let us recognize the second problem that brings out the employees to resign or quit. The second reason behind why people quit is because of the work culture that is considered to be what we call inefficient and full of trust issues. It is undeniable that this kind of issue would rise as the ratio between employees and employers are getting bigger over time. So the gap in their relationship expanded as well. That is why it is hard for managers to relate to this situation. I would guess that not that many could establish great relationship with their employees. Have you ever think what would be the causes behind these issues, my friends? Well, today we will about to look into some key problems in the matter. Have you ever heard about the words Monday blues? I believe even the managers felt those kind of days where you need to endure 8 hours could make your employees or you yourself feel like a drag. It is sad that it happens in our working culture, which almost becoming or already becoming an endless cycle of inefficiency. It is unavoidable fact that makes some who are not strong enough to endure tender their resign letter. Moving on to the second point, the working culture which embodies mistrust between employees and employers are sure to be harmful towards employee motivation. This leaves them with the feeling unappreciated and makes them wanting to leave the company. From an employee point of view, I would say, working with someone when you feel uncomfortable with them, you think your credibility is always questioned by them. That's the key point. Especially when your boss doesn't trust you, will not to be anyone's liking, of course. Another quick example would be when the matter is about to going back home earlier issue, which could be seen as something is out of ordinary. Managers tend to see this as a form of laziness. Do you agree with me? Not necessarily, I would say. In comparison to others who just have been putting bumps on the seats longer than you, but not that much of work done. The hard-working employees are the one who gets stung because what appeared in front of them. There was a suggestion to solve this problem by a remote working. Unfortunately, some important processes are better to be carried out on hand. So, it's still becoming an issue of executing this activity. That's for my second point. Moving on to the third point. There's a one-fits-all mentality needed to be stopped because this is one of the reasons why employees quit the job. Sometimes employees will need to be working what we call traditional office hours because that is when customers want to come in. But customers usually have to keep office hours as well because they are also workers. So, is it convenient for them if they can only access a company during those times? Small conclusion that could be derived to meet the ideal operational time of a business staff working hours are necessary to be adjusted. To be clear about the means of idea, I will give some suggestion. I will give some big picture. I will give some example to see the bigger picture. If there are staff who would prefer to work from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m., it could mean customers don't have to take time off to access services. They could have their solicitors meeting at 6 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. Though the opposite might be faced by other customers if there are no generate standard hours working culture, which currently in Britain as the classic 8 standard hours. Thus proving that flexibility isn't just for staff, unfortunately. But the upcoming or the emerging issue are the mental health problems faced by people who think that the 8 hours are still tiring. Isn't it about time for changes to be made? Employees need to be put into consideration when in setting standard working hours in organization. Okay. My third point is lack of growth, which could be also one of the emerging issues why employees quit. Of course, as an employee, you don't want to be stuck in one position for more than 3 years. Your employees might lose interest and sees no more career prospect. This aspect that has been neglected by the management, perhaps because of time constraints and the constant demand pressure leads to no such initiative. lead to review the employee's task structure and level of authority and responsibility. That is why employees are leaving their job due to this abandoned aspect of the management. Managers should stop assuming the current position is enough to meet the employee satisfaction, as it does not apply to all. Be borne in mind that many try to achieve greater heights in their job path. To prove my facts, a proper study was carried out by Global Talent Monitors Report on workforce activity in 2Q18 or 2018 shows that the lack of future career development remains a key driver of employee attrition. Cited by 40% of departing employees as a dissatisfying factor in the job at the same time, while 28% of employees are actively seeking a job and 40% are passively open to new opportunities. You know why this happened? All because of the lack of career growth in the job path in a company. That's why your employees are leaving. Okay, moving on to the last but not least reasons why employees quit the job. It's because of the lack of appreciation. It might contribute to why employees fleeing their posts. Have you heard about the term emotional stinginess? For your information, emotionally stingy employers have one thing in common. They lack of sharing and giving. They are reluctant to praise others, often sizing them up before expressing approval. They are judgmental and critical of how others act. They are not ones to encourage, support, or empathize when you need them. From what we could hear from employees wherever we could find, as we did a lot of surveys earlier, bosses appear to have a sense of always being right, secluding the employees from what they have come up with, from what they have contributed. When problems arise, many blame the employees in various ways, such as scolding, punishment, and job suspension. This is why employees hate their jobs. They think it's unfair. Of course, if I'm an employee, I would also feel the same way. Because of these bosses with a bad, dislikable behavior, they might think to find another job. As a manager, you should put a stop to seeing this kind of appreciation as a soft HR concept, because the stats might say the otherwise and might be the worst for your companies. As a research was carried out by analysts to look further into the arising cause, the findings are not surprising, as what we can hear from nearby workers that we live with or bump into in our daily life. Victor Lippmann, as a Forbes magazine contributor, one of the trusted people, who wrote about management complication that had brought to the public the key data point inferred from the research. 66% of employees, that's many, say that they would likely to leave their job if they didn't feel appreciated. This is up significantly from 51% who felt this way in 2012. You can see how alerting this issue is, thus proving that the so-called soft concept might be a good favor for managers to retain precious employees. This is it for me. Now we jump into the solution part that will be handled by our expert, Miss Ain Afika. Thank you.
To solve each of those problems, we need to be calm and think accordingly. It is good that our workplace culture is rumored to be one of the attractions as to why most individuals want to work with us. So, we must together be open-minded and think of the best solutions to retain this great impression of our culture. Here I am today is solely for reason all of you in focusing on solutions that matter the most right now for each of your departments. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, the first solution that I would like to suggest is stop micromanaging. Right now, I want you to listen and think. Have you ever asked your employee to repeat their tasks just because you feel they are not up to your standard? Have you ever rushed your employee into doing their tasks at a faster pace because you are afraid of cannot meet the deadlines, which is not 3 weeks from now. If you feel upset when you listen to this, then you are a micromanager. Put a stop to that. Do you know that you are creating a hostile workplace for your employee? How can one feel proud about their work when they are uncomfortable with the situation? So what can you do in that situation? Straight up and go and say sorry to them? No, that will only make them feel uncomfortable, and for those with the position will not apologize that easily, right? This, I suggest you to eliminate those hygiene stresses by using fitless contingency approach. You can choose to either has PDMs, which is psychologically distant manager, or PCMs, which is psychologically close manager. I bet you are confused about which is which, right? So let's say if your employee could laugh when you make jokes, you better off with PCM's method. However, if your employee keep avoiding your eyes when you meet them, then use the PDM's method. If you don't want your company to be on the company list of the Great Resignation, then apply this as soon as you can. Stop choosing your employee and just take what is laid in front of you. What I mean is, stop having too much standing in your recruitment process. Do you know that just because of the current pandemic, more and more workers had decided to resign because they are said to feel burnt out? Those who do not resign are said to stay because they need their work and not because they want to stay. Through this, we can see that almost all employees are sticking with their job unwillingly. So, to fix this, you need to be more diverse with your recruitment process. Stop setting standards because having great qualifications doesn't mean anything if you don't have enough motivation to do it. Being born with different colors does not mean one is not fixated on doing the work. Standards for lower position and middle position should not be too high, as those workers are very important in ensuring the smoothness of the company's operation. This might not affect your higher positions because you're on the point, but they are the ones who will be on the ground to keep everything intact. Being diverse in the recruitment process will benefit all of you. Trust us. From the employee's perspective, diversity in the workplace can save your face from being labeled as company with the highest employee turnover. And confidently, you can close the productivity gap that you have with other competitors. From the employee's perspective, they will have better surroundings for discussion. They have wide views, ideas, perspective that soon will bore into great success towards the company. The second last solution is by giving feedback. Employees need to be and feel appreciated. If not, they will quit. Do you know what the public are calling managers who are hard to say appreciation to their employees? It is emotionally stingy or emotional stinginess. Not enough with not being liked by the employee, but also being described as such publicly. Don't you feel upset when someone labels you like that? As an employee to another, I want to ask, is it so hard to praise your employee for the work they had done, for the success they had brought? Every worker is a human, and human desire for appreciation and appraisal. So, to solve this problem, let me introduce you to the term employee feedback. As plain as the term is, it means feedback given from employers to their employees. Through this feedback, an employee will know what they need to do in perfecting their task. The employee will have a better understanding of why you scold them. This action is a must in every team's organization. Appraising on paper is different from saying it out loud. In talking, humans will have the emotion that helps in their understanding. By doing what I had suggested above, I believe not only the relationship will be manned, but also the productivity of the company will be boosted as a whole. So stop being emotionally stingy and be as human employer as you could possibly.
Ain, I think you forgot one point solution, but it's okay, I got you. The solution that we need to do is, we need to make a more experience, not just a position. So, as the leader in your company, you need to make sure that everyone in your company have a chance to expand their professional development. It is because most of the worker in the company will get bored if they keep doing the same thing over and over again in the long term. So, it will make the employee to find other job in the other place to get a different challenge in their career. So they will leave their job in their workplace. So most of the skilled worker in the company prefer intrinsic reward rather than extrinsic reward, which is they love the challenge in their job rather than a tangible reward. So as the manager, you guys should let your employee to explore more regarding their job by letting them to gain more experience. You can offer your worker a new position in the company so that they will become more motivated to get promoted. Lastly, you also can engage in conversation with your employees. You need to keep up to date with them or regularly keep in touch with them to make sure that they will feel more open to their job. You can do some activity with them to make them feel comfortable with you, so that they will feel that they can connect, that they are connected with their management team. So just try doing an annual dinner with them to build a great communication proximity and break communication barriers among the workers and the management team. That's all for the solution. So now we have come to an end of our program. After this long program, I'm sure you can get the idea on how to make your employee feel more motivated in their workplace. Make sure you guys apply this solution that we have give it to you, as it can give a lot of benefit from both employee and employer's perspective. As an employer, you guys can save a lot of money when applying this solution, as it can reduce the cost to recruit another worker. It is because when you guys apply this thing, your employee will be more satisfied with their job, so they will maintain the same place for a long time. So there is no need for you guys to use company's money to recruit a new worker. In employee point of view, they will become more satisfied with their workplace, as if you guys apply this method, because they will feel like their existence in the company have been valued by their bosses. They will become more motivated and will become more productive with their job. Thus, the quality and the quantity of the product that come from your company will be better over time. So that's all from our team. Thank you for joining our program.
Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. There are actually a lot more that we can share, but we might actually make another program like this, so keep an eye out for that one. You may not get a lot from us, but you might actually at least get something from us. So anyway, I hope that this program can improve yourself as a manager. Thank you so much for spending your time to join this program. We are really appreciate it. That is all from us.